Up to the table. Make sure you watch the clock. You have 3 minutes. The board is testy tonight, so we might cut off your microphone if you don't stop after 3 minutes. We'll start with Carl Muhammad, Christopher Knight, and Jill Testa.
Ready?
State your name, please.
Brother Carl Muhammad. I just wanted to say, in the miseducational process that African Americans have been involved in here in the District of Palm Beach County, you know, for years you were professing that you were an A-rated school, and then when we finally got the results to give us the indication of what was happening to our babies, we found out that you were only graduating 29%. Even though you might have made some remarkable moves inside of your graduation, we understand that the content is still the same, and we're looking forward to possibly changing that activity. You know, inside of the African American community across the country, we proclaimed that the year 2018 was the year of switching our civil rights attention, and we moved it to education. It is our hopes, or at least some of us inside of the community, that possibly at the end of the school year, if we could get a real accountability some kind of way from our principals at these school centers that are in charge of our babies on how they might have made some real tangible advancements for our children, and what is it that we can take a critical look at that we possibly might be able to put together so that we can move forward in our process. And I had a look, I went to the meeting that we had this week for the advisory of African American children or black children, and I see the problem one of the problems that we had when we started on this journey. Our journey was called Beyond the Talk, taking actions to increase the rate and reduce suspension of African American students, in particular African American males. And that gave us an opportunity to really focus ourselves. And I think we're going back into that window again where we just make a broad brush, and I'm hoping that we don't do that. And when I looked at the school board policies inside of parenting and family involvement, all of these things are good, but they're not going to do us no good just sitting on a piece of paper. And I don't see any kind of real way to take a look at this kind of activity taking place inside of the African American community. I'm hoping that we'll take another look at that. And I just wanted to remind everybody that we're in the season right now where many of us are celebrating the birth of Jesus. And he had a reputation of carrying the truth. And he had a burden because he had truth in his mouth, and he had a desire to see others to possess that same kind of quality. I'm hoping as we go on this Christmas vacation that we will remember what Dr. Robinson mentioned when she mentioned equity. And I'm hoping that those of you who have some kind of way to go to the bookstore or something, and the book is called Walking the Equity Talk, a guide for courageous, culturally courageous leadership. And I think it's an excellent book that we need to take and pay more attention to it and really help us with that principal activity for the first of the year. It would be very helpful to not only us, but for you to know where your teachers are located and what is taking place inside of your school center. Thank you for your time. Have a happy holiday.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you very much. Mr. Knight, would you state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes?
Christopher Knight. You're aware of my problems that I've had, so I'll just get to the point. Early on in this kindergarten year, I sent 2 emails out. One was to the board, and the other later on was to superintendents and the board. I wrote in there that I was a father and a Marine Corps veteran. That's all that was mentioned about my veteran status. Since the lack of communication about policies and such to me from you and the administration, I made a public records request of all communication from Donald Vinoy to the teacher, in which I found out what all of you did with this information. I have to say, as a first-generation immigrant, having moved to this country not speaking a word of English, I provided years of service to a country not of my birth by freezing in the mountains and drowning in sweat in the deserts, to guarding strategic weapons in the Pacific Northwest, to 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, and staying in Afghanistan. Service that the reason I mentioned was supposed to lend me some form of credibility to my character in this society. But instead of credibility, it seems that information was used against me when I questioned your school policies. Now, madam, you are my elected official in this district. You're supposed to help me. Yet there is an email chain from teacher to principal, principal to superintendents that makes it seem as if the administration was actively working against me and had it out for me from the start, trying to make me into a villain. even though I've been very open and kind about everything. The attitude and the correspondence between everyone involved with me observing my son was very negative from the start. There were also a lot of emails about needing to have conversations about me over the phone and instead of writing. And on all the years that I spent in the government, when people say that, it means they're covering things up. The principal and her secretary informed me in November through email that there are no documents on me detailing any negative behavior. Yet, from that public records request, the very officer I filed a complaint against created paperwork on September 17th after the complaint was filed on me that contains false information and exaggerated information that could have only been given by this administration, and then sent it to the very same principal that I filed an IG complaint against. Now, I've sent all of those documents over to the chief of police, and he's reviewing them at the moment. But I will tell you, all of this deceitful behavior, why? Because at the beginning of the kindergarten year, I asked to hold my son's hand to his classroom and to be able to observe him. And from that, you threw the fact that I was a veteran against me. And now I have an informational bottle with the chief of police. That is a lot of false information. I mean, really? I also found out that the reason why none of you are speaking to me, at least the ones that are involved, is because you think I'm suing you. I'm not suing you. I showed up with a friend that happened to have an occupation as an attorney when I was supposed to meet with superintendents as an observer because of the fact that some of you have lied to me. But there are no active documents against this school district, so please allow me to observe my son. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Ms. Testa.
Yes. Excuse me. Hello, Superintendent, and to the board. Hello again. My name is Jill Testa. I've been coming before you for 2.5 years now for assistance. My son was assaulted, as you all know, on February 8th, 2016 at Water's Edge Elementary at 11:50 a.m., right before lunch. He was made to stay at school for the remainder of the day and then sent to aftercare until 5:45. All of this without one phone call home. After 2.5 years, I can assure you I'm no longer here just about my son. I'm here about all of the children that have been assaulted, both physically, sexually, at Addison Meisner, from rape to stabbings at Olympic Heights last week, to assault on special needs children. Over 40 people, 40 separate cases have come to me after they have heard me speak. They've come to me for help. These cases are of all kinds. The victims all had to tell their parents themselves, even after faculty knowing. No phone calls home, no incident reports, nothing. But there's one thing in common that all of us have, that assailants have been shuffled around by the county, not fired, and removed from their role as educators. Even those accused of sexual crimes and physical assault still hold positions within your county, only shuffled to a new school. Is this so parents don't know? Why was the principal that hid my son's assault, didn't call me, reassigned and not terminated? Why are you shuffling faculty members? And is this in hope that parents truly don't know? Is it to avoid termination? I've read many police reports by the school police, and unless the law is different, I'm confused in many ways. Criminal justice is truly what I know. I have my bachelor's degree in forensic psychology with a minor in criminal law. I was an officer for the State Department for many years, for the Secret Service Division, where I protected our former president, George Bush, Colin Powell, along with many others. Protection is what I'm talking about here. And you're right when you think it's okay, she's the minority. Most won't speak up. They'll be too intimidated, too shy. They don't want to hurt their reputation. You're right. I am lesser in number and in majority. But similar to the Me Too movement, where women are scared to speak up because abuse happens to them, in fear that they will look like they're lying and crazy. I'm here for the children that have no voice. None. Because their parents are given multiple numbers, driven in circles to your board, to Inspector General, all over the place. What we want to know is, when will you call me for a meeting? It's been 2.5 years. When is this happening? To protect our kids.
Thank you. Michael Testa, Clint Gordon, Gwendolyn Lewis. Mr. Testa, state your name for the record. One of you, Mr. Testa? No? Michael Testa, Clint Gordon, Gwendolyn Lewis?
Clint
State your
Gordon.
name. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, board members. Congratulations, Mr. Shaw, on your award. Just here to talk about the ACE program tutoring at Lake Worth High School. My son was placed in the ACE class, and without the consent of, without asking, to be placed in, and that's fine with me. My concern was the whole time was that when I was asking about tutoring, that there's some ACE classes that tutoring was not available for students in the ACE program. The reason that I'm here is because I think that it's imperative that we have equal opportunity tutoring for kids on all programs, from ESOL to ACE to advanced to gifted. All programs, I think, deserve to have some form of tutoring. I think the answer that we don't have any tutoring for this class at this time is unacceptable, especially if we're trying to prepare students for post-graduation success, especially in the ACE program, which I believe is aimed towards post-graduation success with the ACE diploma. Since my first time speaking, I actually did receive some correspondence from administration of Lake Worth. They assured me that they are on it, which is wonderful, and I do appreciate that. But that being said, it's halfway through the year, and I believe that halfway through the year is a little bit too late to start offering students that need help in the ACE program. I would just request that the board think about or consider just looking into the ACE program, because without a tutoring initiative, it could be a detrimental program to the students if they don't have the available help. Because these are ACE, they are college, and the grading is also very difficult, and so is the teaching. So I'm here just to request that the board look into it, consider it, just to be sure that the program is beneficiary to these students and not detrimental to post-graduation success. And if you had any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Gwendolyn, not Gwendolyn with the G. I'm here to speak with you on a situation that has been happening throughout this district, and I've tried to go through my chain of command to get something done about this particular situation. I've been with the district since 1999, September 27th, as a matter of fact, as a bus driver. On the afternoon of August 22nd, as I've done since the beginning of school, which was August 13th, I was in the teacher's lobby at a school reading. The assistant principal came in about 30 minutes after I had been there and asked me to leave. And I asked, did I do anything wrong? She said to me, "You're a bus driver." And I said that, yes, I'm a bus driver. And she said, well, you need to come in, you can use the restroom, and then you need to go and get back on your bus because you're a bus driver. And at the time, my children were not to be dismissed until approximately 45 to almost an hour later. So I asked her, well, do you expect me to go and sit out on a hot bus because I can't run my bus due to the fumes getting into the classrooms and they would make the children sick? And it's 90 degrees outside, and you expect me to go and sit on my bus for that amount of time? She said to me, "You're a bus driver." And so I said, well, ma'am, I'm in my uniform. I showed her my badge. She said to me, "Do you think that badge means anything? It does not entitle you to be in this teacher's lounge." And I took this situation back to my facility, and pretty much they kind of brushed me off, and the senior coordinator, she kind of just said, well, we'll see if we can find somewhere for you to sit. The area manager, because I said that's not acceptable, said that, well, technically she's in charge of the school. And I'm like, but you actually going along with what she's saying? She put me out of the school for no reason other than I was just reading. So I've tried to go up to the next level. I've told this story to the area manager, I've told it to the team leader, I've told it to the general manager, I've told it to the ESC specialist. They've all offered me an apology. And again, they did nothing wrong. The administrator at the school did something wrong. And she has not given me any type of written apology or a verbal apology. And I feel that This is wrong, and this has been happening throughout this district, and I just want to bring it to your knowledge because I've asked for this to be documented. No one would document it and put it on paper for me because, again, I feel that this is unacceptable just because I was reading. And this problem is throughout the district. It's not just one particular school, and I would just ask that you all take a look into this and come and help clean transportation up because the people that are supposed to be my voice are not being my voice and having my back. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Sanchez, Lou Bear, Mark Erickson. Joe.
How you doing? Good. Should I go? All right. Good evening, everyone. Chairman Barberari, Superintendent Fenoy, the rest of the board members, members of the dais, it's good to see you guys all. It feels like homecoming a bit for me. Still a little bit nervous up here talking to funny you guys, but just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations, Mr. Shaw, again, for your recognition, well deserved. All of you guys do tremendous things, volunteering a lot of your time to the community. Appreciate that. I'm here tonight because of, a lot of you know that I'm still involved in the construction business a lot and do a lot with schools. And like many of you, I was moved tremendously by the events at Stoneman Douglas on February 14th. And to the point where, I just could not continue on with my day without trying to figure out what can I do. And I prayed on it and thought about it, and I really wanted to move on because I have enough to do in my life already. But I'm blessed to know a number of people who want to make a difference, and I felt like God wanted me to reach out to them. So I started reaching out to a couple of school board members, Erica and Dr. Robinson, a couple of school board members I know in Broward, and as well as Miami-Dade, as well as other administrators, senior administrators, and architects and contractors. And we talked ourselves into hosting a conference or a summit. So on April the 5th, 2019, we're going to hold a summit called the South Florida School Safety and Security Summit. And we're having building officials, fire officials, architects, public administrators, law enforcement individuals come out there as well. And we're going to talk about what we can do to make our schools safer. As you know, the Margie Stoneman Douglas Commission is wrapping up their report, I believe, this week. We're hoping to get somebody from that commission to come speak. But we have people come speaking from all over the country who are going to share with us their ideas and their thoughts on how to make our schools safer. The idea is to make our schools safer without making them feel like prisons. We want our kids to be happy and safe, but we don't want our schools to feel like they're in jail all day long. So I just come out here today just to, I'm going to share some information with you, leave you with that, and ask you for your support. Some people already, Wanda Paul's been involved helping us out. Tom Hogarth has been involved as well, recommending names, anything that you could do to help get the word out. We really want to make this a successful event. Again, just want to make our schools safe as possible for our students and our teachers. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Joe, would you make sure that we all get it to the board clerk and she'll get it out to all of us?
I will do that right now.
Thank you.
As soon as we're done.
Yes, sir. State your name for the record, please.
Yes, hello. My name is Mark Erickson. I'm the first speaker to talk about the conservatory school. I'm going to refer to it as TCS from now on. My wife is Andrea Erickson, who was the Volunteer of the Year in 2017 at TCS, and Andrea still gives her time unconditionally to this day. TCS, what it is to us and why it should be extended into a high school. Day one, TCS has been an inspiration for our family, our daughter's education. The teachers, the staff, and the leadership of TCS is impeccable. TCS diversity is on its strength. 30% African Americans, 30% white, 27 Hispanics. Other schools of the arts do not have this diversity or inclusion. TCS diversity models are real work environments beyond the school years. TCS students learn better now how to navigate adulthood and the increasing diversity of society. Each student learns at an early age the strengths of working together based on talent, activity, culture, and knowledge, and not social stigmas. Diversity among students in education directly impacts their performance. Studies show that students working better in a diverse environment enable them to concentrate and push themselves further when there are people of other backgrounds working alongside of them. My next statement is in support for TCS. I'm going to mention a little bit about the excellent musical education. Having a musical background helps further endeavors. A musical background is a good predictor of success, the work ethic, self-motivation, discipline. When you play chamber music, you're required to show up and prepared. It's the #1 rule of music and for a professional career, and I'll include that in my summary. TCS High School will be different from other schools and schools of the arts. TCS High School will be the only local school that offers both project-based learning and continuing of high-level music education. What is project-based learning? It's real-world problem solving, concepts and creative development, technology inclusion, end-to-end problem solving. In summary, project-based learning combined with the arts, which was my middle statement, is not the future, it is now. Today's kids don't learn from 1930s type teaching. Open your book, turn to page 134. Today's leaders and innovators are Uber, Tesla, SpaceX. They have the skills not only to invent a product, but a team to take it to market. That's what project-based learning is all about. TCS has been teaching project-based learning at all levels for years now and should be able to continue. The kids relocated out of TCS this year have reported back that they're bored with the old teaching styles of the schools that they went to, and it's not the dynamic teaching style of TCS. This board, please, needs to think outside the box and take a leadership role in promoting a style of teaching and be a leader for Florida and eventually the country. We have seen the local enthusiasm of this school and project-based learning. Private students are paying to go to TCS. Thank you.
Thank you. Anne Marie Lang and Leo Lang and Lisa Butler. I call Lisa Butler already.
Is it just the two of us up here?
Pardon me?
Is it only the two of us up here?
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you.
Yeah, it was Lisa Butler was the other one. And after her will be Holly Lobsinger, but there's no more room up here, so she'll be next. Go ahead, ma'am. State your name for the record.
Leo Lang.
Go ahead, Leo.
Good evening, Dr. Fenoy, and dear school board members. My name is Leo Lang, and I am a sixth grader at the Conservatory School. I would like to personally invite you to our project-based learning exhibit tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Thank you. May I please hand you a written invitation?
You can give it up to this. Oh, she's gone. Yes, she's right here. She'll get it from you. Sure. Thank you.
When he's done, when we are all done.
Okay.
He's done.
Okay, you can go ahead.
And will I be timed again at 3 minutes?
Yes, they'll set it back. You want to
Okay.
pull the microphone a little closer?
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Anne Marie Lang, and I'm the mother of two children, Leo and Max, who's sixth grader and eighth grader at the Conservatory School. I want to tell you the story about the Conservatory School. The school that does not receive any extra district funding, however, has 4 music teachers on staff. The school where kids work together, where in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders work on project-based learning in small groups, where they present and they have to defend their projects to the audience. They work with pupils, and sometimes one or the other member of the team has to make up the work of another student that is not pulling his weight. Although this can be frustrating, but our middle schoolers learn how it will be later in life when they work in groups for an employer. Our school is the school where teachers want to teach. They know what a magical place it is. Our school consistently outperforms other schools in our district in FSA tests. Our school is the school that makes you, the school board, look good without having to do any work. Our school got the green light to go ahead and start 9th grade because Superintendent Avosa knew that this type of learning is what our district and our kids need. There is a school within a 3-mile radius of our school that is empty. It has enough parking space and could accommodate a high school. I know you want the same thing we want for our school. We all want to finish the story that our Title I school continued to grow with a high school. And all the students, including the 70% free lunch students, were able to get the highest Bright Future scholarships since they took ACE classes. And they went on to excel at university. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Leo, for coming tonight. You can give your invitation to this lady right over here. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Yes. My name is Lisa Butler, and I am here tonight to ask the board to consider reopening the Conservatory School of Music and Innovation High School. Last time I was here, I spoke to you as a parent of a TCSMI 9th grader. He had the opportunity to travel to High Tech High with a contingency from the district last year and see project-based learning in action on that location. Then he had the amazing opportunity to come back and help build his own dream high school, a place full of innovation and promise and lots of music and 40 world changers. And so we may have encountered a challenge when the district closed that school 6 weeks in, but at the conservatory school, we don't see barriers as a place to stop. We see them as conversation starters. So I'm here to continue the conversation. Today I'm speaking to you not as a parent of 3 children at the conservatory school, which I am, but as a former recruiter for Procter & Gamble. I was a college recruiter on the University of Florida campus, and I can tell you I never hired a student because they had a high SAT score or they got an A on an AP World History class. I hired them because they had soft skills like collaboration, problem solving, communication, and innovation. And those are the skills that are focused on in a project-based learning environment. Kids learn to form opinions, articulate them, and solve real-world problems. These are not extra credit activities for fun. This is the meat and potatoes of project-based learning, and it's what companies are looking for when they hire new people. Can we be brave enough to recognize that and do something about it? I can tell you just north of us in Seminole County, they are. They've started a project-based learning high school. They had a focus group of high school students and asked them what they wanted in a new environment of high school. And they said they wanted practical projects that really matter. They wanted to tackle big social and environmental issues, and they wanted to do it in an environment that was equitable and open to everyone, not just an elite group of students. They did it, and it's working. If you think it can't be done here, I invite you to visit the conservatory school because we already did it. If you think this kind of learning is just for a small or elite group of students, I invite you to visit the conservatory school because it's how everyone learns there. If you think, as we do, that our county is large enough for another arts-focused, music-centered high school, please come visit the conservatory school and see the beautiful musicians that are grown there. If you think, come visit the conservatory school because that's what we're good at, and that's what our kids are good at, thinking, playing music, and solving problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Holly Lobsinger, Allison Francis, Reese Harvey. Ellen Baker.
Good evening, board members, and thank you for having us and allowing us the opportunity to speak. I'm here also to talk about the Conservatory School of Music and Innovation.
State your name, please.
Reese Harvey. Thank you. As you all know, I think you know the history, the district started this project-based high school this year and then quickly pulled the rug out from under the school and the students that were there. project-based learning, as has been discussed by other speakers here today, is an innovative and new way for students to learn, and it is very effective. There's all kinds of studies I've seen about it. And I was going to invite you as well to the exhibition tomorrow night, because I've been to one of those exhibitions, and you will be amazed at what these students are presenting and doing at very young ages and all across the spectrum. There are really three things that I wanted to mention today about what is very important and things that a new high school or re-establishing the high school that got closed would do for this district. We need more seats in the north end. The high school is not proposed to be a very large high school, but it would help. More seats in the north end would be helpful. The Conservatory School of Music and Innovation can offer more music education. The Dreyfus School, which is a very good school, turns down lots of students who want to go there for music education. There is a need in this community for better and more music education. Dr. Robinson, I know you mentioned a whole discussion this morning, or earlier in the meeting, not this morning, about music education. It is essential to our school. But most important to me, and I think, and I also wanted to mention, Dreyfus is the only other school that offers a strings education. There are students who dedicate their education to strings and then have nowhere to go if they don't get into the Dreyfus School. Even if they're excellent violinists and make it through the audition, the lottery might not give them the opportunity to go there. We need another opportunity. But important to me is that TCS can offer this education, this innovative, new, and effective education to a much broader cross-section of our county and our community. I looked up today at greatschools.com that the stats on Dreyfus: 29% low-income students, 53% white students. I looked up the stats on the Conservatory School: 71% low-income students, 37% white students. We need to be able to offer this innovative, effective, new approach to students in a cross-section of our community. And I don't know why a board in a modern county, an open-minded county, seems to not be taking any action towards trying to fix this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, would you state your name?
Hi, my name is Allison Francis. I'm also here representing the voices from the Conservatory School. I have a son in 6th grade who started in 4th grade, went through the audition process. He made it into the middle school and we were promised he would be able to continue into the high school. So we are greatly hoping that the high school will continue for his sake, but also for all of the other students in the middle school. You know, I work with students. I have a tutoring business in the north end of the county. I do test prep for high school students, SAT and ACT. I work with a lot of juniors and seniors every year, several hundred. Many of the students that come to us go to Dreyfus. They also go to many other schools, but I get a chance to get to know them over the year one-on-one when they're at that point in their high school career for decision making, and I get to see the type of student, the type of learner, and how they're engaged with curriculum, the world around them, and their goals for the future. Consistently, I am impressed with those Dreyfus students. They are knowledgeable, well-rounded, and self-driven. That is not the exact same model of the Conservatory School, but it does have the similar creative arts piece to it. And like was said, there are just not enough seats in some of these great programs that we have. We know these programs work. That school, Dreyfus, is always making the top list in the state, in the nation, year after year. We have the ability to do it. We've started to do it. We have the interest to do it. When we started at the Conservatory School, there were no auditions for the middle school. Now we've needed to add auditions because people have started to come more and more. It's a growing interest that the students and parents have. When my son first started, he was mildly interested in the trombone, and he started just because that's what you do at the school. You learn an instrument, and his teachers were so invigorating to him. He loves it now. He started to play with other music at home, pull out keyboard, and just learn from YouTube. And this is an opportunity he would have never had had we not been able to go to a music school. I could have done music lessons sometimes if I could fit it in, but not in this deep and well-rounded way that students can get. And I know it's benefiting all of the students at this school. So I hope that you do come to the project-based learning tomorrow night. There is a winter concert coming up on the 18th. It's at Gardens High School. It is phenomenal. You will be so impressed. So please, let's continue the conversation.
Thank you. All right, we have no other speakers. We need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Mrs. Whitfield, second by Mrs. Andrews. All in favor, opposed, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.